That's true. Good morning and welcome to Booked Up with Beth. I am Beth Hildenbrand, and this morning I am honored to have my friend Mark Dougherty on the show. And he has written a fabulous book called Unscripted. And we're doing 3 interviews with Mark the first Saturday of each month for the next 3 months. And I'm just, the book is so good, we could not do it in one show. So thank you, Mark, for being on the show this morning. And if you want to, for our viewers who are not familiar with you, if you would like to tell us a little bit about yourself before we get going, that would be fabulous.
Sure. My name is Mark Dougherty, and I'm a poet, an author, and observer of the human condition. I've lived a few different lives. I'm a son, I'm a father, I'm a chef, I'm a seeker, and like a lot of people, I've spent years following scripts that didn't quite fit who I truly was. Unscripted came out of a moment when I realized that healing doesn't come from pretending we're fine, but from telling the truth. My work lives at the intersection of poetry, reflection, and lived experience. I connect with people who feel deeply and question everything and are ready to come home to themselves. Um, the soul doesn't thrive in someone else's expectations. I've been a witness to shame, grief, love, life, death, beauty, and the quiet moments that shape us. My book Unscripted is about peeling back those layers that we wear to survive, and asking, who are we without the mask? I write to remind people that their story isn't broken, it's just unfinished. Letting go of shame, questioning inherited beliefs, and choosing an honest life over chasing a perfect one is important. It's a big important step to the healing process.
Oh, very good. And I agree with everything you just said right there. I don't believe anybody is so broken they cannot find a way to heal and come back from it. And anyone who says that they have not had hardships in their life is not telling you the truth. Everyone has. Good morning, Nina. You said in your book, I have it right here. You put goals. One was remember who I am, evolve, lead with the truth, leave the world better than how I found it, and to be an example of love and wholeness for your daughters and anyone trying to find their way back home. And I love that. I think that is something we should all try and do. Especially remember who I am. When I started writing, it was almost as if I became two people. I remember I was having a hard time dealing with Mary Beth, the person I was, and Beth, the writer. It was almost like there were two people there.
Mm.
And I had to evolve into a new person and kind of commingle the past person and the person I had become. Because I didn't, to me, I was always this, the goofy girl I was and the mom. And then when I suddenly became this known person. And I almost felt like people were expecting things from me.
Woo.
And it was like, okay, I had to come to this point where I don't have to prove anything to anybody.
Yeah.
This is who I am.
Sure.
You know, if you like the way I write, fine. If you don't, fine. But this is just who I am. I got a very snotty review the other day on my new book. I mean, this person all but told me how it should have been written. And I was like, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You have one book out. Thank you for explaining the process to me. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I was very nice to them and told them I would take their critique under consideration before I wrote my next book. But yeah, it's very hard. You have to know who you are. You have to. That's the very first thing that you must start with, and I like that you put that first. It was a very good thing. So I like that you put these goals because I think it's goals everybody should follow. Nina wants to know what inspired you to write this, because this wasn't just, you have 3 books out now. And this was not just a book of poetry. This is a book of self-reflection. So I love it. I really do. So what made you decide to just not do straight on poetry, but to write this book?
See, I never set out to I never considered myself a writer. I never thought I was going to be an author. And the poetry just came from life just kicking me in the ass and holding up the mirror and reflecting who I was and who I want to become. And once I stopped blaming people and external forces for my hardships, it broke it down in a way where I can understand it. So I believe that a lot of this information is stored in the subconscious. You know, we don't know what's going to happen when we leave this earth, but I feel there's something more spiritually. It's possible that we have lived past lives, past experiences. There's no such thing as coincidences. There's just signs. I was going through life like a lot of other people, very distracted and not facing the truth. And you have to look at all these distractions and say, well, why are they there? I know that the system is built with the hope that people are distracted and buying products and losing sight for who they truly are, so that they have to depend on somebody else. So, like I said, I was in a real dark place, and I was having some real negative thoughts, some real bad thoughts. And it's not like I didn't want to live. I just didn't want to live with the pain. So I understand what a lot of people are going through. And it's not that my problems are more important than anybody else's, because I reflect every day and I realize that I've traveled a bit and I've worked in a restaurant business for a long time, and I've seen how other people live. So I'm grateful for what I had. I had a pretty solid foundation, but people are not taught emotional intelligence. And it's something that I had to observe from other people and then reflect upon my own hardships to discover that I had this gift of emotional intelligence. And the gift is nothing unless you could share it. And I believe in doing that and lifting people up and making people feel better. And it doesn't take much. we often put all this pressure on ourselves to save the world. And, I mean, there's so many different causes and so many things. It makes your head spin, and then we become overwhelmed. So if you just start with a conversation and make eye contact with a person, maybe at the store, the checkout line, that validates them as a human being. And it goes a long way. And I've seen it. I've seen how it lifts up people. And people have thanked me for that. And they say that I'm rare. And I don't think that I'm rare. Everybody has that gift within them, but they're so busy and so distracted with all these other things that they're thinking about themselves in their own head, and the wheels are spinning. So my advice would be get out of your head and get into your heart. And we need to spend time every day in silence. Whether it's nature, whether it's exercise, whether it's reading, whatever you like to do to ground yourself. It's very important. So this was something I felt I needed to get out as like a journal. And I really wrote it for myself. And I'm honored that people are reading the book and giving me feedback and letting me know that they have learned a lot from it and I think this is knowledge that people have, but they just have forgotten because they're so busy.
Well, in the book, you said about self-care, meditation, rest, and proper nourishment for your body and your mind.
Yes.
And I agree with those things as well. I mean, some people I think you see them, I'm taking care of myself now. Well, okay, that's great. People do need to take care of themselves, but not to the point where you ignore other responsibilities. I've seen people take that way too far. But no, you do need that proper self-care, where you like, okay, sounds like the Bible, but on the seventh day God rested. Yes, everybody needs that rest for themselves. I have my little habits. Like once a week, I have my 2 hours where I shut myself off and just do my nails. When my kids were home, that was my mom time just for me. I didn't go out to a fancy nail salon. We were poor, but I would take that 2 hours just for me and my mom time. And but you do need that time. Everybody must have some alone time to relax and breathe and take care of themselves. I do believe that. And and healthy food. Oh my goodness, I can tell. I will crave green vegetables. My body actually will give me a signal if I am not getting enough fruits and vegetables. My body craves it. I don't know if other people work that way or not, but my body actually craves it. I grew up on a farm though, so yeah. We ate things out of the garden. But yes, your body does need these things. So these are good and practical things that everyone should practice. But I was glad to see that you put that in there because these are important things for people.
Absolutely. Sometimes you don't realize that your body craves, the vegetables and the good things because we're often putting bad things in our body, and sugar is addicting and we crave that. But just like anything, you have to observe how you are feeling when you're putting things in your body, and you have to observe how you are feeling when you're around certain people or in certain environments. And if you're aware of that, well, then you just remove these things, remove the sugar, remove the toxic people, remove the environment that doesn't serve you well. And we could do that. And we forget about the people pleasing and what other people think. You have that intuition. We all have that intuition that tells us it's time to go. But how many times have I and many people decided to stay in a place which wasn't good for us, and then we pay dearly afterwards. So I think it's really important to do a check-in with yourself at the end of every day, just to see how you're doing and how these environments and how these ingredients have affected you.
That is very true. I have had friends that have definitely I needed to part with, and I'll tell you what, and people who want to preach politics on Facebook. I'll tell you what, in the last 6 months, I've just been hitting that block button.
Yes.
I don't care which side you're on. If you just want to preach, 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 and holler about it and argue with people, and that's all you do. I choose to keep that out of my life. It,
Yes,
it
it's
it is just so toxic and so terrible, and there are too many other things in life to worry about.
that's so true, and it's hard. Sometimes we get into that loop and that cycle, and our bodies crave that toxicity, and we don't even realize. So it's like a narcotic, or or alcohol or whatever. We become familiar with it, and we start craving it, and we don't realize it. And even if it's toxic, and we might be aware of it, we still often go there. But you could flip that and say, I'm going to shut that down, and then the world opens up and shows you other people that are on the same page, and then you realize, well, I'm not so different, I'm not so crazy. And I think that these people that are posting these negative posts, even the leaders, I use that word lightly, the leaders of our country, when they post this, they're crying out for help. So going back to, we have that gift and we have the intuition, we need to listen to ourselves, and the only way to do that is to shut out all the noise, shut out the noise from the environment around us, the world, and shut down our brains, because our brains are
Absolutely.
going a million miles an hour. Get into your heart.
I, exactly. I would much rather sit and read a book than have the TV on. I really don't have a lot of time for the TV. If I watch TV, I want to watch a historical movie
Mm,
or something that's going to educate me.
mm,
I
mm.
just I don't have time for all this ridiculous stuff they have on TV these days. It really, ugh. Or yeah, when my husband and my son have on one of the games. Yeah, I love to watch basketball. I used to love to watch basketball. Now there's a whole folder all about that and betting and all that mess. So we don't even watch basketball anymore. But football, I guess we're going to watch the what you call uh,
The Super Bowl.
yeah, the Super Bowl tomorrow. But since none of our teams are in it, we're kind of like, yeah, okay, we'll watch it anyway. But, diehard Eagles, and my husband is for the Eagles, and my son is for the Ravens. So neither one of their teams are in it, but we're going to watch it anyway. But yeah, we watch a lot of sports in this house. And other than that, yeah, I usually have history or discovery or one of those on if I'm watching TV at all. Otherwise, I've got my nose in a book, and I'd much rather have it there when I'm not writing. But yeah, the TV is just so, and even you can't even watch a television show without them putting politics in it these days. That's why I can't stand to have the TV on.
Yes, our subconscious is like a computer, and everything that we take in is stored in there, whether we know it, realize it or not. And I'm a happier person without the TV. And occasionally I like to watch sports, and I try to put aside the negativity, there's, life is a balance. There's positive and negative. So if it brings you a little joy and you can forget about your problems for an hour and a half or 2 hours, well, that's great. It doesn't mean that you have to think about all the things that go on behind the scenes. So, yeah, I'm with you there. I think it's, and the fact that you're sitting down with your family and watching the Super Bowl, I mean, that's a great thing. This is some time where you could spend, and if you want to yell at the TV in frustration, that's great.
Yeah, I
You
always
want to
said
sit down and have some good food, it's an opportunity to gather together. So
I
it
always
can
said
be a very positive.
going to concerts was my therapy because I could yell and scream and look like an idiot with everybody else, and I could get all my emotions out and not look any more stupid than the guy standing next to me. So yeah, I love going to concerts. That's my therapy.
Exactly.
Nina wants to know what is one of your favorite quotes or a message from any of your books?
Oh,
There you go.
um, I can't quote it for verbatim, but the message is just be true to yourself, be authentic. When we grow up, there's a lot of pressure, and we're dealing with all these signals, and it was hard enough to grow up in a time where we didn't have all this technology. We had signals coming in from our ancestors, our aunts and uncles, our parents, and there was a lot of good intention, but a lot of these messages were passed down generation to generation with good intention, but it doesn't mean that it was true or served you well. Right now, we're getting mixed messages from all different angles, and we have these phones that are tapped into the entire world. So, I would say if you're listening to all these outside signals, you're going to be confused on who you are. So, I had a hard time growing up because I felt like I wasn't really heard and I needed a different kind of education. I wasn't mainstream. So I was kind of cast aside, like as a troublemaker. And I wasn't really being true to myself because I was a little confused on who I was. So my message is just be authentic. And if you follow your heart, you can't go wrong. And like you said, you go to a concert and you're gonna dance, you're gonna sing, and that's you. That's being authentic to you and your soul, and that's important. Otherwise, our souls are gonna be screaming out for help, and it's gonna come back at us in misaligned ways, and that's why people are doing some of the awful things they are doing because they're not being true to themselves. I hope that
That's
answered the question.
No, that was good because in high school you feel like you have to keep up with the crowd or do this or do that, and you know what? When you get out of high school, your life goes a completely different direction. None of those years really matter who you hang out with or who the cool kid is or this or that, because when you're an adult, 90% of the time you're never going to see those people again. So their opinion means absolutely nothing. And I know, the people that I knew in high school, I could walk right past them now and not even recognize them on the street. So, I am who I am. And even the people I do know, I remember I was turning, I don't know, 40 or 50 or somewhere in those years. And somebody said to me, just, you know, who are you trying to impress? And I was like, I don't know. I mean, just that one question. Who are you trying to impress? And I had to stop and think. And it was like, who am I trying to impress? There is nobody that important that I need to impress in this life. And after that moment, I was just like, oh, well, the hell with it. I'm just going to be who I am. And if people don't like it, I really don't care. I'm just going to be who I am, period, point blank. And that moment had to be the most freeing moment of my life. And, I think when people finally realize that, and I hope everyone does, I hope everyone has that moment. Because after that is when you can finally live. When you realize all you have to be is yourself. I mean, I will probably be a 70-year-old lady wearing, 5-inch heels and carrying a cane so I don't fall over. But that will be me. And I'll be happy. And that's just how life works. I remember last year, my children saw me in a pair of tennis shoes. And my son was like, "You don't have boots on." And I said, "Yes, I do own a pair of tennis shoes. Imagine that." And it was just such a shock to my children to actually see me in a pair of tennis shoes, because that's not me, and they know me. So you see, you can be whoever you want to be and be happy.
Yes, I wish I'd learned that at a younger age, but there's a reason why I came to these crossroads when I did. So I don't look back with any regret, or I don't say there's wasted time. I think all that time was just spent as a process, and it led me to where I am now, and it led me to writing, and it led me to this conversation right now. And it takes a lot of strength to be your own person and be true to your soul, especially when we're living in a world of conformity, because society tells us otherwise. So authenticity is key, and the only one you need to impress is yourself.
Yes, but we do all have to go through the trials and the hardships to become that person. I wouldn't be the crazy little old lady in heels if I had not, if all those things had not led up to that point. We have to go through those things to become who we are. And,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
and hi, Carrie. Thank you for stopping in. She says she missed some of it, but she will go back and watch it all. Thank you, Carrie. Do you happen to have your book with you?
I do have my book with me.
Because I kind of wanted to end the show if you would read Triggered for us.
Yes, I will. Wow, time flies. I'm having such
It
a great time.
does.
Yes, I will be happy to read that. Here we go. It's a short poem. My spine curled. There were days I didn't understand why my heart raced when I heard footsteps, or why I froze when someone raised their voice. The logic of now couldn't compete with the reflex of them. So I began listening, not to my thoughts, but to my breath, my tension, my tremors. And slowly I started speaking back. You're safe now.
I love that poem. I mean, sometimes I believe short poems are some of the best, and that is a very wonderful poem.
I have a hard time writing short poems. Sometimes my poems go on and they turn into novels.
I wish I could say that. I am a short poem girl. My poems are usually short and in your face. But
Yeah.
yes, I love that. And I thought that would be a perfect ending to our first show in this series. So thank you for reading that. And thank you for being on the show today. And everyone, please remember that Mark will be doing the first Saturday, March and April, so we can go through the rest of this fabulous book. And he has other books. They are all, she's going to send you a friend. Carrie is going to send you a friend request. Carrie is wonderful. She's a poet as well. And she is just a sweetheart. You will become fast friends, I promise you. I have read everything she has ever written. I'm getting tongue-tied.
And this is the 2-year anniversary of your podcast, right?
Yes, thank
Happy
you, Mark.
anniversary.
I
It's an honor
forgot
to
to
be
say it. Thank you. Oh,
Yeah.
listen to me. I'm a mess. I haven't had enough coffee this morning. Today is the second anniversary of Booked Up with Beth. Yes, for 2 years we have been doing the show. Thank you, Mark, for reminding me. So, yay! We have been doing the show for 2 years. I am so excited. I saw it on my memories this morning and I was like, oh my God, it's been 2 years. I didn't think I'd make it 2 months. And here we are still. I'm just so excited. I think I may go get a cheesecake today if I actually will leave the house. So yay, this is so wonderful. I'm so happy about that. Oh, Carrie, happy anniversary. Yes, we will do another show together. I always want you on the show. You are a fabulous guest. So Mark, if you want to put your links up on my Facebook page for your other books and this one as well, that will be great. Because I have read all of Mark's poetry and it is incredible. I absolutely love it. And like I said, he is just a terrific poet, and this book is captivating. It is. I can't say enough about it. That's why we're doing 3 shows, because it is just
That warms my heart. It really does.
incredible.
I'm honored. I'm honored to be part of this experience, and I'm, we've become friends. We connected right off the bat, and that's special to me. So I really appreciate that, Beth.
Oh yes, I mean, like immediately there was just a click, and I am thankful, so thankful for that. So thank you, Mark, for being on the show today, and thank you everyone for watching, and we will see you tomorrow morning. Yes, I'm pretty sure. I believe so. Yes. I lose track of my days. So everyone have a great Saturday afternoon. Love ya. Bye-bye.